Hey, welcome to your next best step with Brek Cockrell, the locker room for purpose-driven leaders. This is where we slow down, reflect, and we take our next best step through real stories, practical strategies, and rooted leadership wisdom. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, even the best leaders need a coach in their corner.
Hey, welcome to your next best step podcast, and welcome into the locker room today. I'm here in Buffalo, New York. It's a little bit on the nippy side today. Early November, starting to feel the chill. They say we got a little snow coming our way, which is so exciting to hear. Well, it's just me today in the locker room, and I hope that you've had a good week. Hope that this week has been a meaningful week. I'm sure for you, as it is for me, and so many leaders that I get the opportunity to serve and to work with. Busy is not a problem. It's there is always stuff to do. And today I want to talk about something that really kind of changed my life. And I'd love to just share a little bit of this story, and maybe it'll be helpful when we talk about taking your next best step. There's so many things that we can put in that. Your next best step in your relationships, your next best step in your health and your finances and your job, as a leader, as a dad, as a husband, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. There's so many things. And so I want to help. I want to kind of share with you something that really had an impact on my life. There's two things that I think it's really important for my own life and what I do, but also it's one of the things that I help serve leaders, is reminding them that we are human beings first, human doings second. We are human doings. God's given us agency. He's given us a responsibility to work and work hard and to be good. But before that, he's also given us the responsibility of stewarding the life that he's given us. And so there's always this tension between working on and working in. Working on the being part, the human being, and then also working in it, working on the business, working in the business. Today, this is a little bit about working on us. And I don't know, I remember back in 1993, I was at a Final Four in New Orleans. At the time, I was a basketball coach. I'd just gotten married. I had $100 to my name. I'd gone to the Final Four with $100 to my name. I'm a new wife. I'm a new husband. Had a new job, and this weekend really kind of changed my focus to this day. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. My wife and I, Gloria and I, we had gotten married in August of '92, and I had been coaching at the high school level for several years at this point, and I really knew I needed to. My goal, my hope. I mean, I had a plan. I was 30 at the time, and I wanted to be a head coach by the time I was 40. And I didn't really care either way. If it was at Duke, that's fine, or Kansas. Either way, I'd be okay. But I had high, dreams, and I was a basketball. I loved basketball. I loved coaching. I loved all of that. And we'd just gotten married, and I'd gotten a job. A buddy of mine had gotten a head coaching job at a small NEI school the year before in Lake Wales, Florida, a little bitty town in the middle of Florida. So Gloria and I, we get married, we go on our honeymoon, we come back, and I move her into the men's dorm, because it wasn't just the assistant coach job. I was the director of the men's dorm. And then I was also the student activities director. And so all for a whopping $12,000 $500. That's not 1892. That was 1992. 12.5, and they didn't even give me a meal plan, a meal pass. I had to pay for my own lunches in there. And so here I am, newly married, got moved into the men's dorm. They converted 2 dorm rooms into an apartment, and so it was crazy. And the basketball season started, did not go very well, and I saw the writing on the wall that I needed to get a new job if I was going to stay in the coaching business. And so the my buddy, the head coach, Mark, he said, "Hey, let me set up an interview." So in Mobile, Alabama, with the coach I used to work for, Coach Elder, and and so I'm like, okay, let's do that. And then I'm like, you know what? I need to go to the Final Four. I mean, everybody goes to the Final Four. Maybe I can get a job. Maybe I can find a connection right there. So I made plans. I'm driving from Lake Wales, Florida to Mobile, Alabama. And then I was going to had the interview, and then I was going to make my way over to the Final Four. I had $100 to my name. Didn't know where I was going to stay. I had a tent. So I put a tent uh, into my trunk of the car, and I had found, and this was long before there was Google Maps or anything like that, and I'm like, hey, there's a KOA in the city of New Orleans. I'm like, you know what? I've done this before. I'll just go to New Orleans for the weekend. I'll stay in this tent. Like, it'll be cheap. So I drive into New Orleans. It's Friday afternoon. I get there and I'm looking on the map and I'm driving. It's in the heart of the city of New Orleans. I'm like, a KOA right here. Like, wow, I don't even see a tree. And then all of a sudden I find it and I pull into it, and it's a big parking lot, empty, graffiti on the fences, walls, and everything. And right in the middle of the parking lot was this building, and everything was locked up, graffiti, paint. I mean, it looked like World War III had happened in there, and that was the KOA campground that I was supposed to stay at. And I'm like, that ain't going to work. And so I went ahead and I went to downtown to where they had the Final Four, and they have the hotel, the conference hotel, where all the coaches, and at this particular time that the National Coaches Association would meet, and that's high schools, college, all the coaches would come together, and it was the headquarters for the Final Four. That year it was North Carolina, Michigan, Kentucky, and Kansas. I mean, a heck of a Final Four. Rick Pitino was there, Roy Williams. I mean, Dean Smith. It was an amazing. The Fab Five was there, and so it was an amazing weekend to go to the Final Four. And so I didn't have had $100 to be able to spend on the whole weekend. I went over in front of the Superdome. I'm like, man, I hope I can get a ticket that I can afford. And sure enough, I found somebody. They gave me the semifinal tickets and the final 3 games for $50. So I'm like, hey, I'll take it. So I had $50 left in my name for the whole weekend and to get back home. And so I'm like, man, this is roughing it. And so I go back to the headquarters, to the hotel right there. I'm just sitting there. I'm just taking it all in. I'm seeing these coaches and teams walking in. I'm like, man, one day that could be me. That'd be amazing. And all of a sudden I see a face that I knew, Tom Kelsey. Like, what? Tom, hey. And Tom he coached a college team at Montgomery, and they'd been in our Thanksgiving tournament. And so we'd become buddies. And so, like, hey man, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm here to the Final Four. He goes, hey, are you going to come to the big gala tonight for the coaches? I'm like, well, I'm not a member. I don't have a ticket. He said, hey, I come in with me. We'll be good. And so I'm like, okay. And so I walk in to this ballroom, and they got a band playing. Every coach that I'd ever dreamed of seeing, of meeting, was in that ballroom. It was an amazing food everywhere. It was like, Lord, thank you so much. And then later that night, I'm like, Tom goes, hey, uh, where are you staying? I'm like, well, I got a place, I just did this kind of last minute. I got a place out of town. He goes, well, hey, why don't you just stay with me? My dad, he always rents out a place. And so I'm like, you sure? He goes, yeah, man, we got bedrooms all over the place. So I go with him, and it's a house. This is long before Airbnb. It's a house right across the street from the Superdome. I'm like, what? And so, man, I got a place to stay. I got food. Tom and they're taking care of me. I got tickets to the Final Four. Then he invites me on Sunday morning to the Athletes in Action prayer breakfast. And I'm like, sure, I'd love to go to that. So we went to it. And I'll never forget, in that room, there was all kinds of coaches in there that I'd grown up watching and respecting, going to their coaches' clinics. And Josh McDowel, who was a big youth speaker at the time, he was the keynote speaker. And um, and toward the end of his talk, he made this statement. He says, "You can spend a lifetime, coaches, chasing success, and even if you catch it, you might look back and feel empty. I mean, you can chase the championships, you can get the better job, you can get the better salary, you can get the better house. But if that's what you chase, and at the end of your life, you'll look back and you're going like, wow, what was it all for?" He says, but he said, I would challenge you not to spend your life as a coach chasing success. He said, I challenge you to do something better, because success, we need to be successful. We need to be as good as we can. But what's even better than success is significance. You see, success, it lasts for a while, but significance lasts for eternity. Man, that hit me so hard. I realized I didn't just want to win games or get a better job or wanted to live, I wanted to actually live a life that mattered, one that was about other people. That weekend changed everything for me. Zig Ziglar, back in the day, he used to have this saying, you can get everything in life you want if you help enough people get what they want. John Maxwell takes it even deeper. He says, success is about what you do for yourself. Significance is about what you do for others. And that became my North Star. Whether I was coaching at the time or pastoring, or now as I'm coaching leaders, my goal has really from that day has been the same. I want to be a leader. I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be a husband, a dad. I wanted to be a friend that was really more about significance than just chasing success. And the only thing that lasts forever is people. Everything else passes. So what we invest in, if we invest in success, man, we're going to come up empty. But as leaders, if we invest in people, that's going to echo. That's going to be a legacy. That's going to last beyond our lifetime. Right now it's easier than ever to chase success. I mean, I feel it as kind of as new into this coaching world, even though I've been investing in leaders for 40 years. I'm building out a new business. I'm building out something that is new. I'm not young like I used to be, but I'm still young enough to be able to try new things. And it is easy to fall into this trap of chasing success, titles, numbers, all of that. And we all have this little judge that sits on our shoulder that kind of talks smack to us. And often it says, you're not enough until you get more. But what if we flip that? What if we, instead of saying, hey, I think this, if we could get a little bit more of this, if we can get more wins, if we get more sales, if we can get more, and how that never seems to actually satisfy. What if we flip the script on that? When you hit a big goal or close a deal, when you think, hey, when we think about these things, like what's the ledger between success and significance? I think that we have to ask ourselves some questions, right? Maybe here's a few prompts that might help you. Like, hey, that's kind of interesting. B, like, am I chasing more success or am I really chasing significance? So here's a prompt for you. When you hit a big goal or close a deal, what's your first thought? Um, is this about me? Is this for me? Is this like helpful for me? Or does it impact others? How do you measure progress? Is it mostly about your metrics and milestones, or about how the people around you are growing because of your influence? Maybe this is a prompt. When things fall apart or get messy, do you default to protecting your image, your brand, or do you allow others to see your vulnerability? See, when we talk about others, when we talk about being significant, that means that we have to be transparent. We have to be vulnerable. We can't try to play this perfect part as leaders, no matter what phase of leadership you're in. If you're at the very top of the food chain or kind of mid management or whatever that looks like. Here's another prompt. If I looked at your calendar this week, would I see time carved out to invest in people, even if it doesn't show up on the performance report at the end of the month? Or are you spending time, John Maxwell, who I'm partnering with, which I've loved him. I've been a fan of John's for, I mean, decades now. And so, but he talks about the five, our daily five, talking about like, and I don't know whether it's your daily five, your daily three, but do you lead yourself well? Do you have a purpose every day when you wake up and enter that day to be able to you've taken the pen out of fate's hand and you have the agency to create a great day? Do you have your five? Do you have your three? He always challenges us to like have your five, like, hey, start with yourself. Or how are you going to lead yourself well? And the other thing that he talks about his five is he always has like, how can I bring value into other people's life today? It's one of the things I'm going to do. That's one of my five is how do I bring value? So my question to you, do you think about that? Do you have it on your calendar? Do you have it on a little like how can I bring value to somebody today or this week? Here's one last prompt. Would you rather be remembered as a high performing leader or a deeply impactful leader? See, none of these are right or wrong answers. They just tell us which side of the ledger we tend to lean towards, success or significance. And it is so easy to spend most of our time in the busyness of success. But as your coach in your corner today, let me just remind you to take the time to not chase success. Success is good. We need it. We need wins. We need to be good at what we do. But I think what's even more important is we need to be great at who we are. And that's every day. That's a journey. See, it's not just like these right or wrong answers. This just kind of tells us, but the truth is the goal isn't about to abandon success. It's to anchor it into something deeper. Because when success serves significance, that's when our leadership really starts to have impact and will echo all throughout the organization, our community, our families, and not just for today, but for tomorrow. So here's your next best step for the week. Take one of those questions that maybe hit you the hardest. Let me run by them again. When you hit a big goal or close a deal, what's your first thought? What it says about you or how it impacts others, right? Prompt number 2, how do you measure progress? Is it mostly about your metrics and milestones or about how the people around you are growing because of your influence? Number 3, when things fall apart, get messy, do you default to protecting your image or do you allow others to see your vulnerability? Prompt 4, if I looked at your calendar this week, would I see time carved out to invest in people, even if it doesn't show up on the performance report? And the last question, and it was this: would you rather be remembered as a high-performing leader or a deeply impactful leader? Take one of those questions that hit you the hardest and sit with it. Don't rush past it. Don't try to fix it. Just name it. Just name it, because awareness is always the best next step towards significance. Then find one way to shift your focus from success to significance this week. Maybe it's sending a note to someone you've overlooked. Maybe it's slowing down long enough to ask a teammate how they're doing, ... really. Maybe it's asking, hey, I'd like to ask this question, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd be honest. What's it like on the other side of me? Really? What does it look like, sound like, feel like? Or maybe it's reminding yourself that the win isn't the trophy, it's the person. Success is about achievement. Significance is about investment. And when you invest in people, the return lasts forever. So as we head into a new year or a new decade, maybe for you, depending on your season, let's stop chasing success and let's begin investing in significance, because success fades. Significance has a way of echoing. Well, that's your next best step this week. Don't just build something impressive. Let's build something that lasts. Hey, if you enjoyed today, put a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm still trying to grow the channel. If this was helpful for you, send it to somebody. Hey, and this week, let's invest in significance in the lives of others and see what happens. Thank you. We'll see you next week.